My dear friends, I must be honest with you. Today, I would have preferred not to be here to preach to you. Today, I would have preferred to lock myself up in my chapel before God alone, to weep and to pray. To weep and to pray for my nation, where darkness has descended. To weep and pray for my church that is being stifled out of existence in the world and also in Nigeria. To weep and pray for Deborah Emmanuel, who was killed because she found herself in a part of Nigeria she thought was home, but it wasn't. To weep and to pray for my brother and friend, Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka, the world-acclaimed voice of the voiceless, who has now become soft target for those same voiceless people who see him as part of their problem rather than as part of the solution. To weep and to pray for the poor, miserable murderers of Deborah, who have been left uneducated and unemployed deliberately so that they can be manipulated, brainwashed, and instrumentalized for political ends by religious bigots and political egoists. To weep and to pray for people who should be leaders, religious leaders, who enjoy being ambivalent in the condemnation of evil when it is perpetrated by one of them. To weep and to pray for our political leaders, under whose watch this nation has crumbled.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, the Catholic Bishop of Nsukka Diocese, Enugu State, Bishop Godfrey Igwebuike Ona, had accused the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration of deliberately crumbling Nigeria. Ona, who was reacting to the gruesome murder of the student of Shehu Shagari College of Education, Sokoto State, over the alleged blasphemy of Prophet Muhammad, lamented how violence, corruption, and other vices have become culture and tradition in this part of the world. The clergyman, who is angered by the realities in the country, expressed sadness over attacks on the Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Bishop Matthew Kuka, residence. Right? Daily Post recalls that Kuka's house was reportedly attacked a few days ago following protests launched in parts of Sokoto State by some Muslims over the arrest of suspected killers of the 200-level students. The senseless killing of this young girl triggers a lot of questions to where we are as citizens of the world. Was this barbaric act a show of religious intolerance, an absence of law and order, or ill education like he alleged? Please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. You can also tweet at us at WayShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WayShow. Okay, so Norma, I am particularly not in a happy place today. Because I don't even know where to start the conversation from. But I wouldn't know maybe if things have changed so bad from when I was growing up. Because when it comes to, let's take it piece by piece, religious intolerance, I never understood what that word meant until maybe much later in life. Because I could go into a mosque, literally. I would do the ablution with my neighbors that were Muslims. They would teach me how to do the prayers, and they would come, would sing the songs together. But everybody understood that you were Muslim, I was Christian, and yet we could still do all those things and go back peacefully to practicing our religion without being compromised in our faith, right? When it was Christmas, we would take food to them. When it was Salah, it was a must. Everybody would, Christmas, you see lining up of, because like neighbors, like 14 neighbors, so they would line the coolers in big sizes, not even small sizes. So you were cooking with the mind that I am feeding not just my family, but the entire neighborhood. So people would come. So when I hear things about religious intolerance, I still cannot relate, right? I still can't relate. I feel that a lot of things has gone wrong in this country. And the biggest challenge I see is that everybody is more focused on ambitions than actually the nation called Nigeria. That's what I think is the biggest problem, but I don't know about you. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I can resonate with what you were saying. Growing up, I think as an older person, that was when I started knowing that there's a difference, or that we were different. Growing up in the North as well, North was home. North is still home for some of us. I don't know about others. But being in that position where I could meet people, I could, communicate, I could relate without fear or any form of prejudice, was the ultimate experience as a Nigerian. And that was no surprise there that some of us didn't, some of us will say we're true Nigerians because we've been all over the country. We have lived and we've experienced the people, we've experienced the culture, we embraced some of it, just to be able to have that sense of belonging as a nation. But when things like situations that we're seeing in the current state of our country show up, then you begin to wonder, is there really a country? It is deep, because when people start making certain comments or certain statements that, oh, you don't belong, or when there is, for example, if somebody who grew up in Lagos says, I'm a Lagosian, I can vie for, and that's when it's remembered that, oh, you are not from Lagos State, or you were not born in Lagos, or things like that. So with situations of religion, like you rightly said, growing up in the North, we had Muslims as neighbors. We received meals from them during festive periods, and then during Christmas or during our own festive periods, we also share what we had. So at the point where people now begin in the face of conflict, then people now remember, oh, you are this and I am this. It now begins to tell you that, was it a dream or a facade that we embraced?
So,
and this is now the actual reality of the situations on ground.
So the Bishop Godfrey, right? That's his name. Was talking about uneducated, unemployed. He mentioned those two words. So I believe education has a major part to play in this, because again, I have a lot of Muslims as friends, really close friends. And when we have conversations, you can't be afraid to say your mind around them, because I believe that some of them have been exposed, they have that exposure, then they understand, right? So you are not careful choosing your words. So is it possible that what we are seeing, with the death of this young girl, is a lack of education, is a major show of how ignorant a lot of people have become, that it is now almost to this point where you can actually decide that you want to fight a battle for God? Because I don't understand why, if somebody makes a blasphemous statement, because that blasphemy is still questionable, right? If somebody didn't
have that opportunity to defend
herself, if somebody makes a blasphemous statement, why you feel the need that you have to be the one to fight? So I saw a few people online calling out for, because you see, if we are talking, it is always nice that it is a Muslim that is coming out to talk about certain things, so that it doesn't look like, oh, we're just being biased because she's a Christian and all of that. Yeah. So the Zainab Mohammed, what's her name now? She came out in a post on Twitter, and she said she was, of course, giving her condolence. The UN Secretary General, she was giving her condolence. Amina Mohammed, sorry, not Zainab. She was giving her condolence, and she was calling out that the government should please do something while she sends her prayers to the family. She says justice must be done for the senseless, brutal killing of the young girl Deborah Yakubu in Nigeria. Religion or religions should not be misinterpreted to preach violence when they promote peace, right? So this is what she is saying. Whilst others, because I had to go back to screen grab. You remember when this issue first broke, the very first person prominent that put out a statement was Atiku. That eventually he brought down that statement and did a very long video explaining why that tweet and all of that. And what struck me the most was that the reason the tweet was brought down was a lot of Muslims came on his page attacking him, that he just lost their vote, he just lost their vote. So I want to read some of the tweets that I found. I just said, what, this is not for me to make any judgment. It's for us to just sit down and analyze and understand, is this the reality? So that while you as a Christian or a Muslim, you are in a that's why I do not participate in religious conversation. But see, if you find yourself in that place where you are discussing religion, maybe this should be like a sign to guide or guard your mouth, right? So Garba Shehu, Adamu Garba said, he said, there's no Muslim that don't respect the sanctity and divinity of Jesus Christ. And certainly there is no Muslim that will ever tolerate denigrating our beloved Prophet Muhammad. Insulting him is our uncompromising red line. Respect our sensibilities and avoid it. So this is what a Muslim came out to say. There's another captain, of course, that Azman Air has come to dissociate themselves from, is Captain Jamil Abubakar, who said that it was his personal opinion, and he was talking about, he says, Deborah Samuel, let me see if I can pull out, he said Deborah Samuel was stoned to death and burnt by some of her Muslim classmates. Oh no, let me try to pull out what he said, sorry. Let me pull out what he said. He said, in Islam we respect the Injil, Torah and Zabur. We were never taught to disrespect any of the book of any of the prophets from Adam to Muhammad and the Quran. The punishment for blasphemy is death. In most religions, including Christianity, respect people's, that he said the punishment for blasphemy is death in most religions, including Christianity. Respect people's religion. It's simple. Of course, people came and they were attacking him and saying they cannot believe. Somebody said, I mean, literally, sincerely shocked. You actually believe it is okay to take another person's life. But I don't know where in Christianity, maybe somebody would help me, because I've not seen it anywhere in Christianity where blasphemy
maybe
is
he's
now
referring to back in the days in the Jewish times where people, if you said something that they didn't believe in, then you were
So the Sheikh Ahmed Gumi came out also to condemn it. He said that the prophet's refusal to avenge, because that even the prophet himself was insulted by people, that his refusal to avenge the insults of non-Muslim or that non-Muslim rained on him while he was alive was because he did not want to be tagged a murderer. So anyone who kills a non-Muslim who have agreed to live peacefully with will not smell the fragrance of paradise for 40 years. So he's even saying, because they say that there's a reward for when you do certain things, you get a place in paradise and all of that. So I think these are prominent people coming out, to talk about, to talk about this. So it just begs the question that what are we dealing with really? Is it a conversation around religious intolerance, or is the fact that we are in a country where there is no law and order? Right? There is no rule of law where I can do anything and I get away with it. I can take a life. Look at the young boy that was killed in Lekki for 100 naira. Where are the arrests that have been made? Whose life is going to be hung based on this boy that was killed? Right? We see crimes being perpetrated on a daily basis, right? And nobody gets to go to jail, or nobody is killed for it, or nobody is electrocuted for it. So is this really a show of religious intolerance, or is the fact that Nigeria as a country, the corruption has eaten so deep that everybody can just do whatever it is that they feel like and nobody is brought to book? Is that what we are suffering from? Or are we suffering from ill education, where a lot of people are not well educated, they do not understand, and they feel like certain things, they need to fight certain battles on behalf of the divinity that they serve? What exactly are we suffering from?
Well, in my opinion, I think we're suffering from a little bit of
everything.
Everything. So when you take the religious intolerance, you see that unfortunately different people have different views, and based on who you're listening to, that is how you're going to be programmed. So some of our Muslim sisters and brothers believe that this is injustice. Taking a life in this manner was not the best solution that would come out of the situation. While some others believe that this is the law, or this is what we believe, that if anyone blasphemes against the prophet, then the ultimate punishment is death. So these divisions will tell based on who you're listening to.
Absolutely.
The different sheikhs, or the different instructors, or the people that they listen to, who do they listen to? It will shape their understanding, whether they are enlightened or not. So you have enlightened people making these comments, as well as people who are uneducated.
Absolutely.
So it depends on what do we have.
So let's I forgot that we need to open our phone lines.
Okay.
Let's go on a very quick break. We'll open our phone lines. Stay with us. All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, if you just tuned in, it's our Ladies' Night Out, and our focus today is Deborah Samuel's death. We're asking, is this a show of religious intolerance? Is it an absence of law and order? Or it is just ill education that we're suffering from? Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-4663. You can also tweet at us at Wayshow Africa 1 with the hashtag Wayshow. Our phone line is now open. The number to call is 07025007749. Remember, please be cautious about the words you use. Religion is a very sensitive matter, and we do not want to further agitate anyone. So please, let's be cautious and be guarded. Remember to turn off the volume of your television set while you're calling. So
So I was saying, so there's the place of education and enlightenment where if I have that understanding, then I'm able to tolerate what somebody, even if I do not agree to them.
Absolutely. Norma, please hold that thought. Let me take our first caller. Austin from Benin. Thank you for calling. Let's hear what you have to say.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling.
Okay, so yes, religious intolerance. I think that's what it is, and it's both in Islam and Christianity. I think what has happened in our country is that people have been so radicalized to a level where they take religion now to the extreme. Fashola said some time ago that he's surprised that even these two religions that we profess, these two major religions that came from the Middle East, that way we practice it here, the Middle East people don't even practice the religion the way it is. They are not fanatical about this religion the way Nigerians, the Nigerians do. Okay? Now, in the north, I think what is happening in the north is that a lot of youth in that place, they are not educated well enough to know that, look, these are things that should not generate violence. Well, Bishop Kuka said some time ago that what you just need to send people Amajiris into the street is just a crate of mineral. Only a crate of mineral. They go to the street and unleash mayhem on the people. Now, so the point I'm trying to make is this: it's not just the Muslims now. Even within among the Christians, I am a Catholic, for instance. Do you know that some persons have called me and said, "Look, you are not attending a Bible believing church." They tell me that they have told me that, look, you in the Catholic church, you people worship images, you don't worship God. Oh, you worship Mary, you don't worship Jesus Christ. So just imagine if you are saying that same thing to a Muslim, how the person will react. So that's just the problem. We have become so intolerant of.
Absolutely. But thank you so much, Austin.
Yes.
He had mentioned really. He said that all you need to do to get the Almajiris on the street, right, is to give them a crate of soft drink. But you see, the thing is that not poverty, and is that not ignorance? Because that's not religion. That is not religion at play there. It's deeper than that. So you see, when you keep the people ill-educated, automatically they are mercenaries for you. And that's what that bishop had said, the Catholic bishop, when he was talking about uneducated and unemployed. You keep them at a place where they will continue to do your bidding. So if a politician or a government is not really focused on educating the people and empowering them in the real sense of empowerment, you are the one actually creating the chaos that we're seeing, because it means that for as long as these people remain jobless, ill-educated or uneducated,
people will find
they will always use them as a tool. They will thank you. These are working weapons.
Yeah, I was going to bring in that aspect, because even thinking about it, Deborah was in the university. Apart from those who are educated or who are not educated, that they can weaponize, you also have the educated ones who are still who are not enlightened. And there's a difference, right?
That's the ill-education.
The ill-education, because these were her classmates. And the moment that situation comes up, that maybe caution could have even taken place there. Oh, please, whatever it is, till now, we still do not have, because Deborah is not even here to defend herself. We still do not know the extent to it. What exactly did she say that was...
It was something around how did she pass an exam?
Yes, even that conversation, we cannot have it as in the way it went at the end of the day.
I'll come back to that, but let me take a caller. Lecinta from Gombe State. Thank you for calling. Are you there? You're live.
Yeah, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Uwa.
Thank you Thank you for calling.
Okay, I think the issue I see with this Deborah's issue is as a result of intolerance. Nigeria is a country where people see religion as if it's everybody's business. We fail to understand that religion is a personal affair. So Nigerians are generally judgmental people when it comes to religion. Even among we, the Muslims, you discover that when you see someone dressed in a particular way, somebody is quick to condemn you. So if not, as a Muslim, you're supposed to understand that even if this person has said something against your religion, you cannot fight for God. That's just the truth. So allow God to fight this battle. So as a Muslim, you're supposed to know that you don't have the right to take the life of fellow human beings, regardless of what their belief is.
Thank you so much.
So I see a lot of things, and I realize that people are not well informed here in the North. Sorry to say.
Thank you.
So religion is between you and your God, and it's a personal affair. And the earlier we take it like that, the better for us as a society.
Thank you so much, Jacinta.
In fact, that she just opened it up. A lot of people are not informed. So the moment something is not going in the way that you accept it, then the next thing people resort to, and it also comes from programming. The people in that environment, how are they programmed to so that things that can, conducive environments that cause those things to come up based on the way they're programmed. You see somebody, and that's why somewhere early, when in the late 90s into 2000, when the crisis started in Jos and in Kaduna, when people started finding out places that were most peaceful, that nothing of the sort could ever come up. And then all of a sudden, you begin to program people to believe that once there's a crisis, then the people to go after. So, like I said, it's a combination of all of these things. Because when people are not programmed to love, when people are not programmed to tolerate one another, when people are not programmed to understand in the midst of differences.
Let me take Loma from Abia State, because what I was even thinking, shouldn't that have been an opportunity to educate her?
Exactly,
you know,
to caution her or to make her to understand that what she did was wrong.
From Abia State. Thank you for calling, Loma. You're live.
Yeah, good evening, my group back in the house.
Good evening, Loma.
Yeah, it's Loma. See, just like the last one, an uninformed mind is a deformed mind. Now, let me take it from this way. Why is it that the Christians have not killed anybody when people talk about something on Jesus Christ? They are not that they don't believe that Jesus did something right. But it is because the woman, some of the people that the other people that are not educated are educated people. So that's understand where I'm going. Educated ones always groom the uneducated, leading them to do what is not right. It is quite unfortunate. So it is right time that the elite up north should educate the younger ones, so that those uneducated, so that they'll start knowing what the religion is all about. We have good friends, I have Muslim friends. They don't talk about killing. They don't kill anybody. They are only supposed to talk about killing. It is because the educated ones try to manipulate the uneducated and make them to what they don't know. So please, it is high time. Let's use the opportunity to tell the educated ones. Let the elite in the north educate the uneducated. At the end of the day, this type of thing will not be happening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Loman.
You know, so the girl was asked, I think, something around her homework. How did it play? She said, "Oh, Jesus." So it was Jesus, and then I said, "Ah." So it's actually very sad. it's sad that, even because you see, I've had, and that's why I'm very careful not to go into arguments, right, with people. I mean, when the Sharia crisis was happening back and forth in Kaduna State, I remember there was a story that we heard, was a boy actually hid his friend that was a Muslim in the roof of his ceiling. He hid him because he was in a Christian, when the crisis breaks like that, wherever you are, you have to check if you're in a safe place. Or so he was not in a safe zone because he was in the Christian part of Kaduna. When the threats had left the place and the people left the area and all of that, it was safe for him to come down from the roof of the ceiling to now go. He came down and took his dagger and slashed the tummy. It was because the boy survived. That's how come we heard the story. Do you understand? So, I mean, if you have gotten to that point where someone that even to the point that somebody that saved your life, right? Shouldn't you be thinking twice that, am I really, practicing how the Prophet would have wanted? Because every part of Islam that I am aware of, right? I don't know so much. I haven't read the Quran, but I have been around Muslim friends. It has always been love. It has always been love. I've not had any of my Muslim friends that show me bitterness or hatred. Do you understand? So why? But let me take a caller. I think we have another caller on the line. You're live. Hello, Benjamin, you're live.
Hello.
Go ahead, quickly.
Yes. Hello.
Hello, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm Benjamin from Imo State.
Yeah.
I'm Imo State.
You're welcome. Go ahead, please.
Very much. It's a mind-troubling issue. I think the entire thing borders on lack of understanding. In fact, religious intolerance is a pandemic, a serious pandemic. And the earlier we tackle it, the better. You see, there are places where you go to and you begin to see what civilized people do. We don't need to be in America or Europe to be civilized. Let people move out to the Gambia here in West Africa and see the height of religious tolerance. I myself personally have been privileged to live in the house of a Muslim cleric, a Christian, and I was organizing choral practices, choir and catechism in his house, in his compound. During Christmas, they will give us candles, incense, and ask us to pray for them. During their own festival, usually in April, they call to basket. Christians will also give them the gifts to them. During Christmas period, the same people you see them, you hardly can distinguish between Muslims and Christians because young Muslim boys and young Muslim girls join us in Christmas carols. And it has nothing to do. Our problem here is that most of our leaders confuse themselves and they use religion as governance. Governance and religion become the same. And then those following them will not act with impunity, believing that whatever they do, nobody will ask them questions, and that they are hopeful that they have a superior power somewhere to protect them. Otherwise, if they are punished, or if they understand that the constitution of this country makes it, in fact, there are laws in this country that make it criminal for somebody to kill another, they will not abide, and not abide by their religious belief. Their religious belief notwithstanding. And if Nigeria is a secular state, we should know that there is no state religion. And you cannot kill or contravene the law on the grounds of religion.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
In fact, while Benjamin was talking, I just remembered that today, I think over 20 lawyers or something, I can't remember the exact figure, of representatives who were representing the so-called people, those who are in custody at the time. And I'm wondering how these seeming young people could rally around and get this number of lawyers to come to their defense. Is it because they really believe that what these people have done is right?
That's what I'm saying to you now. It's the conviction. The actions that was taken based on the conviction that they had.
Absolutely.
So that programming, it's a very It's a very strong programming, and again, and I like what the last caller was
Benjamin.
talking about. The elite, we need to. You can't just say, okay, no, that's
It's
not how it's
not-
done. You must be ready to do the dirty work. Go into the streets and educate the minds of these people, because a lot of people are ill-educated. They don't even understand the religion that they claim to practice, right? But let's take some comments. Fantastic evening, ladies. This conversation is succinct at this time and provokes a lot of sentiment. Religious discourse has never been easy among Nigerian youth, both Christians, nonetheless Muslims. I attribute all these to wrong indoctrination during childhood. How many of us as adults truly question what we were taught to believe as children? A wrongly indoctrinated child is a time bomb waiting to explode in adulthood. Let's think about that. This is Chigozie from Anambra State. You have a comment?
Yes, I do. It says, good evening, my dear beautiful sisters of What Are You Saying? # Ways. Concerning the death of Deborah Samuel, I think the people that were involved in this dastardly, demonic, and heartless act went too far and took laws into their hands. There was a pastor, I really can't remember his name, he said that he read the Holy Quran and that he did not see where it was written where death penalty was the judgment for blasphemy. Even if Deborah blasphemed, is it not proper for her to be cautioned or counseled and also to put to order not to do it again? That it is wrong, rather than kill this beautiful lady for nothing and setting her corpse ablaze. I personally am not in support of this. Sister Norm, I like your hair, you look good. My name is Daniel Lilo.
Okay.
From your
I said the phone lines are buzzing. We have some callers, but
So
I think
many,
we lost
yeah.
the call. But we have one final comment quickly.
Yes, I
then we
do
can
have
wrap up.
one from Iori in Gombe State. She says, good evening, ladies. Majority of these Muslims don't read the Quran for themselves. They listen to sermons, and that is what programs them. Even in Christianity, you see Christians who no longer read the Bible for themselves. I think that's very apt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know these things for themselves. They do not question, like you said, they do not question to go and read for themselves. They just take what they're being taught hook, line, and sinker, and just deposit it. And that's where enlightenment and education comes in.
So, right, on that note, I think we're going to bring back the conversation around religion, you know. So for us, it's not a fight thing. It's for us to just have understanding, because I believe that with dialogue and conversations, you are supposed to hear each other, hear from the Muslims, hear from the Christians, and hear and try to find the root cause of the problem. We hear our phone lines are buzzing, but we're sorry we can't take more calls. Thank you to everyone that called. The phone is ringing in my ear. Thank you to everyone that called. Thank you. We're just praying and we're hoping that this girl will find justice and her death will not just be wasted. It will educate both Muslims and Christians on what to do if situations like this arise. You don't have to take a life to pass the message across. Right, so our heart goes out to the mom. I mean, I read somewhere where the mom was saying that Deborah was the first.
She's the first out of 7 children.
Out of 8 children, and that so the remaining 7 children, they're not going to school anymore.
Yeah,
and she has left the matter
to God,
to in the hands of God, for God to take care. It's sad. It's really sad. Thank you so much, Noma. Thank you to everyone that called and sent in their messages. Now, before we go, ensure you follow us on Instagram. It's at PlusTvAfrica. On Twitter, it's at PlusTvAfrica1. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and more importantly, follow all the engagements on social media. Like, share, and invite your families and friends to watch and follow the conversation. Or if you missed today's quote, here it is again. It is an universal law. Intolerance is the first sign of an inadequate education. An ill-educated person behaves with arrogance, impatience, whereas truly profound education breeds humility. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. to bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.